Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S. Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 648. Today's show is sponsored by Autographs. Download the Autograph app, use code NYKP, and you can win a lot of awesome prizes, including heavily discounted playoff tickets, signed jerseys, and more. App is fun. It aggregates all your Knicks news into one app, and the more you view, the more points you get. The more points you get, the more rewards you get. So check that out. Autograph, using code NYKP. Mark, how you doing?
You know how I'm doing, Jay. You know how I'm doing. I am not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
A friend from college sent me a video. He was at the game last night and was like, you know what? I want to record on my phone the Knicks winning the first round. Like, I want to see the audience go crazy when it hits zero and the Knicks have won the game. He hit record, and immediately, literally 2 seconds after he hit record, Maxey hits the 4-point play, and he just turns off he's like, done recording.
So we don't even have to talk about games 3 and 4, right? We just nobody wants to.
Last time we were on the show, it was Knicks were up 2-0. We were really confident. Blah blah blah. Knicks lost 1, won 1, 3-1. Now it's 3-2. And the Knicks had an absolute epic loss last night. And the rest of this, it's a series. If you're just a basketball fan, this series has been goddamn awesome. Game 2 was an epic ending for the Knicks. Game 5 was an epic ending for Philly. It's the best first round series in years. Unfortunately, the Knicks are playing in this series, and it's one of those things where if the Knicks win the series, you will not remember what happened last night. Mm-hmm. You will remember the Game 2 end with craziness, and you'll be excited and blah blah blah. And if the Knicks lose, you will not remember Game 2. You'll just remember Game 5. And whatever comes thereafter. I was listening to the radio before, and they made a point about the Reggie Miller 8 points in 9 seconds. That was Game 1 of that series, but you remember it because the Knicks lost the series. It's win or lose what you remember. Holy shit!
The point differential between the two teams, Philly is a +2 after 5 games.
Every game has been down to the wire. Yeah. Every game has been it's been a good game. It's been such a good series.
It has.
But the Knicks are up 3-2. We have 2 games to win this. I've just been a Knicks fan too long to be confident.
Yes. I mean, I picked Knicks in 6 to start. They're on track for Knicks in 6. So I don't think I'm as down as you are. Losing Bojan for the rest of the playoffs, he's getting surgery on his ankle and his wrist, is bad. The Knicks are down to basically 7 players in the rotation. I think they should be playing Precious, which they only brought him out for 1 game, and he was really good. But it seems like they're going with 7 players now.
Yeah. How many players, if the Knicks have 4 more injuries, is there any chance, would Tibbs go hey, Charlie Brown, you're going to play tonight? Or just go we're going with 4 guys. You're just going with 4 guys? Yeah. You have, there's Charlie, there's, I think Jacob Toppin's over there. Nope, they're not going on the court. I'd rather go 4 and 5.
I mean, Burke seems like the break-in case of emergency player. I don't think he'd probably forfeit before he played all those other players.
I thought Burks was going to play. Burks also has an injured shoulder. He can play, but I guess the combination of the injured shoulder and how unbelievably bad. Tibbs has no faith in him right now whatsoever.
Yeah.
Tibbs what? Let's just go. I mean, also, as I've heard pointed out elsewhere, people are the Knicks only have playing 7 guys. This is ridiculous. Unlike Philly, which is also just playing 7 guys.
Right.
I mean, Paul Reed got in the game for a minute or a couple minutes last night. They're really just playing 7 guys as well.
I think Paul Reed's out of the rotation.
Yeah.
It seemed yesterday they were we're going to give you 1 more chance, and it didn't work. And both teams at one point were yeah, we're just going to play 4 guards and a forward. And
Embiid came off the court. Paul Reed starts to get up. The coach is not so fast. Sit back down.
Yeah. It was. He's been bad. I mean, he's been really bad. I'm gonna miss the Paul Reed minutes. That was kind of like the Knicks' 6th man.
One of our questions. I just want to give we have some questions. One of the questions I thought was just a good question. Frank writes on Facebook: how much sleep did you guys get after Game 5?
It's been tough to sleep after any of these games. I'm either so pumped that they won or so pissed that they lost the way they did. There hasn't been much sleeping after any of these games, and
This
having
was
the
the
next
one
game
that
at 9 p.m. is just pissing me off.
Yeah, the next game's at 9 p.m., which sucks. I am actually going to the West Coast for that game, and so it'll work out well for timing for me, but not for Jay. But I don't know. Last night was the real first game that really screwed my sleep. The whole night I was thinking about the game. I felt like shit this morning, and I was like, I cannot believe the Knicks series is like infecting me this much.
Yeah, for some reason I wasn't as distraught.
Really?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you why. First of all, yes, they had a 6-point lead with 28 seconds left, and they blew it. They blew it with a couple missed free throws, some dumb foul, questionable if Mitch should even have been in the game at the time.
I hate that. I hate that foul because it's like, I don't know. Mitch kind of fouled him, and Maxey just jumped into him. I thought we got rid of that thing where you could jump into players.
They got rid of that for about 6 weeks, and now everybody's doing it again. I mean, the Knicks got some calls earlier in the game doing that, and Maxey got it at the end. I don't like any of them. I don't care if Brunson was getting those calls. I don't like... If you jump at a 45-degree angle, you should not be getting a foul call. I just don't like it.
Right. I just like... I know that's a foul in NBA, whatever. I'm not arguing it wasn't like the NBA foul, but that shouldn't be like you're jumping into a player. This is like deciding the game, and the refs are like, yeah, sure, just jumping into the player. That's a foul. Sure, he was near you. He had his hands up. He wasn't even trying to like foul you. Maybe he's slightly too close to you. I don't know.
That's what you get for being within 5 feet of an offensive player.
Right. Someone was pointing out like also so Tibbs. I guess Tibbs his normal strategy is if you're up by 3, we don't foul at the end of the games. We try to play defense and have it work out, which is not what the NBA, like 29 other teams do it differently.
Yeah.
Last night, supposedly, and they showed Tibbs on the sideline. He was calling for a foul.
Yeah.
McBride did not know that, or just it was a miscommunication and wasn't going for the foul. I don't even know if McBride was going for the foul, if he could have got. Maxey was so fast in that play and launched a shot so fast out of fear of foul that I don't know if they could have even got the foul on him.
I think the only way they could have is if they fouled him as soon as he crossed half court.
Which is what you kind of had to do.
Yeah, the second he went around the screen, it was over. There was no time. I agree with that. But so, yeah, they missed the free throws. They had a...
Wait, just one, before you get to that, first of all, I thought his Maxey shot was amazingly clutch. I couldn't believe he shot it so early. But I also think about that as like, the Knicks play how they play all season. So they hustle just like they do all season. They play every game really hard like they do all season, but also all season they weren't fouling. So, of course, they don't foul that play. So I feel like that's one of the things where, like, you're not going to, like, there's going to be a miscommunication because you haven't been playing that way the entire season.
I guess, yeah. I feel like when a guy is going supernova all series, you kind of have to change strategy.
Right, but you didn't have a timeout to like tell there was no time to discuss that.
Right.
And also like we don't like McBride's like we don't foul on that. That's been our mantra the whole time. So or not I don't know if it's a mantra, but like I can understand the miscommunication. I don't blame McBride for that because
Anyway, you had those two things, then you had Maxey hit another crazy 3. I mean, both of those shots were ridiculous. You had in overtime. Again, the Knicks blew it. They were up 5, but you had what Cobra said. The Brunson pass to iHeart was just a complete miscommunication. You had just a couple more, just like, I don't know, fatigue mistakes. Just like throwing the ball like where the player wasn't, which the Knicks are usually really in sync, but it seemed like they just had a couple mental breakdowns.
What was iHeart going to do with the ball? If Brunson got him the ball there, I mean, if Brunson, that was Brunson's fault completely. Like, the center's going for the rebound, and, like, thinking Brunson's going to pass there. Like, Brunson almost never passes there. But you give the ball to iHeart, I mean, in theory, he's kind of open, but Embiid's standing at the basket.
Yeah. He was, I don't know, 15 feet from the net, and between him and the net was Embiid. Not a good position to give iHeart the ball. So, it was another weird decision. No timeout before the final play. I know they didn't want to get the defense set, but they didn't. That final play was just really bad. There was so many things went wrong for the Knicks to lose this game. That's why I'm not like totally distraught, because like 8 different things had to happen for Philly to barely win. I would say Maxi's not going to do that again. Maxi already did it like 3 times this series. He probably will do it again, but I feel like Embiid's knee looks worse every single game.
Yes.
He looks worse every game. I don't know. I have no faith he's going to look good next game.
Is Embiid wearing an ice pack during the game? It looked like at the end of the game there was something like something on his knee. I was like, is he wearing the ice pack during the game?
Yeah, I don't know if it's an ice pack, but he's got heavy padding. He looked like he tweaked it again in overtime, and he was really limping at the end. He got it out. He played some good defense in overtime. He didn't really most of the game, but in overtime he gutted it out. Dante's been bad most of the series. I don't expect him to all of a sudden forget how to shoot. I don't know. I just feel like the Knicks are still up 3-2. They have 2 shots. They have a lot of things going their way. I'm not like I'm going to be completely distraught if they lose Game 6, but I feel like the series is still completely in control and theirs to lose. My only concern is that they're down to like 7 guys they're playing, and they're playing crazy minutes. But Philly's also doing that, so.
There's a lot of cause for concern. I mean, in the big picture, you're right. They're up 3-2. Philly would have to beat them 3 straight games to win this series, which is really hard to do. There's a decent chance the Knicks pull off one of these games. There's a decent chance also Maxi's been awesome, but the shots he's hitting are some circus shots. Like, there's a chance Maxi's going to be off one of these nights.
Even if he's not off, if he has like a 35-point game, they're probably losing. Like, he's been needing over 40 to even have a chance at winning.
You know what's crazy? Also, I was just thinking about this Philly team. Like, they started out the birth of this team is trust the process. Where the theory was the best way to become good is to lose every game, get a top draft pick, do it a couple seasons, build up a base, and that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Fast forward, 10, 15 years after trust the process started?
Yeah.
And the best player on Philly is a guy drafted like 21st in the draft.
Right. That is kind of ironic.
Because Maxi is maybe a healthy Embiid is better. I don't know. Maxi right now is the best player in that team.
Yeah. Shimmy said Mitch playing drop coverage was really dumb. I'd say as dumb as committing the foul. Awful coaching YouTube channel did a really great breaking down of the game. Yeah, it was Mitch always drops down on the screen, and I don't even know why he was in there. I really feel like it should have been iHeart or even Precious. Like, he would have got killed for putting in Precious there and having not played the whole game, but I think iHeart should have at least been in there.
I agree with you in there. So the thing with Precious is you really can't use. I mean, if Josh Hart can play 48 minutes, which apparently he can mostly, if you're going to leave the guys in there for longer minutes, the problem with having Precious in there at the 4 is you give up too much on offense. It doesn't seem to work. The Knicks generally, as of late, have gotten killed when it's Precious plus a center on the floor. So Precious can really only play in the center position.
Yeah.
But, it worked really well in Game 4. The fourth quarter of Game 4, Mitch is out. They have Precious in. They have OG guarding Embiid. It seemed to really work. Precious has some athleticism that Mitch doesn't have right now, just because of Mitch is still not fully healed from his injury. I gotta think it's weird to have gone away from that strategy. I don't know how big of a difference that makes because Max is hitting everything. But I feel like you might want to try, if you're gonna get anyone rest, use the centers a little bit. Like, have iHeart out there for a few less minutes, have Mitch out there for a few less minutes, and give Precious a shot at center because it worked. I don't know. Yeah,
I know it's small sample size, but it looked to really work. And especially
really
if Embiid is as hobbled as he is, he was at the 3-point line most of the game, where Precious is just as effective out there. It's not like he's getting bullied under the net, because most of the game Embiid was just hobbled so much he was just trying to jack up threes.
Well, you could also have OG on Embiid, like they were doing in the fourth quarter of the game before, and have Precious on Batum or someone else, that'd be
Yeah.
totally fine as well. I don't think OG guarding OG's awesome. I don't think him guarding Maxi's the answer. I don't think he's really quick enough to guard Maxi. Or slow him down. No one seems to slow him down. But I feel like McBride is the best guy on him, and really McBride and Dante are the ones that need to like try to keep him in check.
Cobra says start Deuce over Devo, or start Devo and maybe more minutes for Deuce.
I think more minutes for Deuce, but I think if you don't start Devo, you're causing an unnecessary problem. Like I feel like you're like suddenly like Devo now there's less faith in him. Like his role, you don't need his confidence shaken anymore. You can also play him for 5 minutes, bring in McBride. You can go back and forth a little bit.
I agree. You don't want to shake Devo's confidence any more than it's been shaken. And also, you don't want to send a signal to the 76ers that you're hitting the panic button and making changes.
Also, you need McBride's been playing well as far as scoring, but Devo can get hot from three. I'd like to make sure he gets a few threes early in the first quarter. If he gets hot for three, that makes a huge difference in the game.
Devo's also had a few nice defensive plays. He gets a bunch of steals. I think he'll snap out of it. I would say play Deuce more minutes, but I think he played 33 minutes. So it's not like he's not playing a lot. Everybody's going to get a lot of minutes because there's only 7 guys playing.
Right. In some ways, also, you'll have Devo out there and McBride out there. When you're going to rest OG, you have to find a way to give guys some rest. You could give Brunson a little more rest. Not much more rest. I don't know. I mean, like I feel like it's game 6, and like Tibbs is like, you guys have been playing too few minutes. We're gonna up the minutes for the last one.
I mean, you don't want to go to a game 7. So I think this is going to be like they're going to play this game like it's a game 7.
Do you know the last game 7 that the Knicks played at MSG?
In the playoffs, you mean?
Well, game 7 of the regular season, Jay?
That's a good point. Was it Houston?
No. It was that wasn't home. It was Indiana 95.
Ah, okay. Well, they won that series. No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Isn't that the series where
Was that the
8 points?
Was that the finger roll series?
Yeah, that's what it was. The finger roll series.
That wasn't
Anyway,
a good series.
whatever. It was also like, I mean, I'm glad all the ex-Knicks were in the building. Not former Knicks players were in the building. It just was, to me, like when Maxey hit the 4-point play and they could immediately cut to Larry Johnson, I was like, oh, God damn it.
I know.
Like everything is being used against us.
I know. We were saying we had the 8.9 seconds moment, and now we had the 4-point play moment go against us. So
when McBride hit that jumper from the middle, in regulation, like I thought the game was over. I imagine he thought the game was over also when he hit that jumper. I was on a text chain with some people, and like 3 of us would like texted in a row, deuce, deuce, deuce. And so someone pointed out this morning, like the game pretty much ended by after the 3rd deuce in our text. Like the game immediately ended.
I mean, honestly, if Hart hit that first free throw, the game, we're not even talking about this. We're not having this conversation. We're like talking about how the Knicks won in 5 and on to the Pacers.
Why doesn't Brunson hold onto the ball there and get fouled? They passed the ball to try to burn more clock. But I was like, you really, I mean, Josh Hart is good, but like I'm going to trust Brunson at the line. And he missed some free throws last night.
I mean,
also.
Brunson missed 2 free throws like a minute before that, so maybe he didn't want the ball. I mean, if Brunson hits either one of those, the game is over.
They were passing the ball around to try to like burn more clock, and I was like, Brunson, just hold the ball and go to the line.
Yeah, but he missed 2 in a row before that. So
no, you're right.
I get the strategy.
And early in the game, Brunson missed 2 when he went to the line. Like it just the missed free throws have also just crushed the Knicks.
Yeah, they shot 60-something% from the free throw line, like, and that was the difference in the game, really. So
yeah,
that's why I'm not super. I saw some people saying this is like the worst Knicks loss in history. I'm like, well, you definitely weren't a Knicks fan in the '90s because Stark's 2 for 18 or 8.9 seconds. I would or Ewing finger roll are all ahead of this. I would say.
I mean, even second round where when Carmelo goes up and Hibbert blocks him, I feel like that was more like this is a traumatic loss, but like at least that was second round. This is first round. Like
also those were all like series enders. This is like the Knicks still have 2 cracks at it.
Yeah. So Philly, they can't get anyone to go to their games apparently.
Right.
You know how upset the players are. They're like, it's unfair. It kind of sucks that like we don't have any fans in our own building. I think 50% of the fans are Knicks fans. Did you hear that? The ownership. You might have heard this already.
Well, this is actually the
But
story I was going to tell you. So go
the
for it.
ownership, Josh Harris, David Blitzer, and David Alderman, along with Fanatic CEO Michael Rubin, are teaming up to purchase and distribute more than 2,000 tickets to the Sixers game on Game 6. Tickets will be distributed to first responders, healthcare professionals, community groups, and other local Philadelphia people that don't want to go to the game.
I mean, that's
Step
very
by
nice of them, but it's also kind of funny that they have no
kind
faith of like 76ers fans buying tickets.
First of all, there's well more than 2,000 seats to buy. I think it's pretty funny that they're buying they're buying 2,000 tickets. You're like, dude, just you can't sell these tickets. Your fans just don't want to go to the game.
I mean,
They're also they're also offering a discount. The Game Time app is offering $20 off if you buy a 76er ticket for tomorrow night.
I think Tommy Beer said James Dolan should buy 3,000 tickets and give it to Knicks fans.
It really like he should just take buses out from that would be really funny if he just like, okay, we'll bring some first responders also, some nurses, whatever.
Yeah,
fill your arena.
Bring them all, line up. However many show up, I'll buy them.
My tweet last night would have been funnier if the Knicks actually won the game, but I commented that with all the Knicks fans cheering, it must feel like a home game for the Sixers.
I thought that was very funny.
So yeah, last night's game was rough. I guess so. Some of the bigger issues here. Well, one of the bigger issues is that the offense seems to be Brunson and no one else. And I get there are injuries, but since we have this, and obviously if Randall was here, that would be very helpful.
I still say if Randall was here, the Knicks would have won 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, quite possible.
There's like no doubt in my mind. Like the offense is just so one-dimensional without Randall. Not only would Randall put up a bunch of points, just his gravity makes Brunson's job so much easier. Brunson would probably be having a better series. Some people were saying, like Stephen A. went on Worst Take, and he was saying that
Worst Take
the Knicks should go after Booker, or the Knicks should get LeBron, and it's like I think just bringing back this whole roster and seeing what they look like healthy, I really think they have a chance. I don't think they need to make a panic move. If they say they lose the next two, I still think they should run the whole team back.
Yeah, so like there's some talk about what the Knicks should do in the offseason, which really annoys me because wait till the goddamn offseason. We're still playing now.
It's so annoying. The offseason is so long. We have months and months and months, and we're sick of all the talk by like July, and you're going to start in April?
Yeah, July 15th, once half the moves are made, most of the moves are made, we're done. And yeah, it's too early to like talk about this stuff. Just like, yeah, I get Booker's done playing for the season for this season, but who cares? I don't care about Booker. I don't care about LeBron. I don't care who else the Knicks get. I care about Randall. He's going to be a great addition next year. But other than that, let's just talk about the team that's playing. You're not like Bogey's out for the season. What will Bogey come back? Will the Knicks pick up his option? Who cares? Let's talk about it when the season's over.
Yeah.
But I do think you're right. Like the Sixers can throw Batum. They can throw Oubre. They can throw guys on Brunson. What would they do if they had Randall? Like, you got to throw Batum on Randall or Tobias Harris on Randall? He eat them alive. It would be a much different series because you'd have to focus on Randall. Like, you'd be like, shit, Randall's a matchup problem, and now Brunson's also a matchup problem because you have to guard both of them.
You think hobbled Embiid isn't going to get banged around a little by Randall going full speed to the rim? Like, I think the whole series is different. So
yeah,
it's frustrating, but
it's frustrating. But I think the Philly was missing Melton for half a game, so it's almost even.
They're also missing Robert Covington. So if we want to fully do the injury report,
I forgot he was on the team still. It's also I get Embiid is definitely banged up. I'm kind of tired of all the here are the ailments Embiid has. He has that palsy, whatever thing. He has leg injury, this injury, he had a migraine, he had a sinus infection, like just everything they could think of. We just want to let you know He's questionable. He's got to hang now. Just want to update you. An hour from now, we'll have some another ailment for him.
I feel like it's all PR. Like, yeah, he's hobbled, but he's playing. If you're playing, nobody gave Randall any leeway last season when he was playing on his bum ankle. Like, we're not going to give Embiid a pass.
If the guy's going to play, why are you even putting this crap out there? It's like
It's all
it's the extreme. It also feels like they're like, I swear tomorrow's report's going to be Embiid's questionable tonight. He's paralyzed and dead, and he's been chopped into a million pieces. Probably will go tonight though.
It's all games. It's all games.
Like he's gonna play. Stop putting him on the injury report. Stop being a bitch city.
I gotta say he has a really good PR team though, because like they released the palsy story right after his super dirty game where he was trying to injure everybody, and then the next day the videos were getting pulled from YouTube. Like I've never seen an NBA clip ever get pulled, and the Embiid dirty clips were getting pulled left and right.
Yeah, so someone put together a compilation of Embiid's playing dirty, and that was pulled from X or Twitter by I guess his legal team. But Embiid said, "You know what? I understand all the videos are being pulled, but part of the reason I'm pulling them is I'm going to make a new reel tonight."
Yeah.
As at the end of the game, he slaps Brunson in the face. What are you doing?
That was game 5. Game 4, he stepped on Hart's leg and he gave an elbow to Brunson. And game 5 was when he slapped Brunson in the face.
No, last night. Last night's game. He slapped him on the head with like a minute to go in the game for like a flagrant foul. Like you almost blew the game because you couldn't see his head.
Well, he's lucky they didn't call any of those other fouls a flagrant, because if you get called for 3 flagrants in the playoffs, you get suspended for a game. So if he does a flagrant in game 6 and Philly wins, he will not be playing in game 7.
Oh. Well, I guess it's gonna be really annoying when they change that rule after game 6.
He's just gonna straight up punch Brunson in the face, and they're gonna make marginal contact.
The NBA, by the way, is just dying for this game 7. Yeah. They're like, wait, Saturday night ratings, game 7 in Madison Square Garden. Yeah, Philly, call your own fouls.
I mean, I'm just waiting to see
who the refs are.
It's going to be either Ed Malloy or Scott Foster. It just has to be.
They're gonna bring what's his name? Who's the one that bet on the games?
The one they caught, Donahue.
Yeah, Donahue's gonna actually. They're like, he's coming back for this game. Yeah, he's learned his lesson.
He's gonna come down the tunnel like WWE in a hood.
He's gonna dress like the Undertaker for the game.
Right, exactly.
Oh my god! So let's do some questions.
Okay.
Well, actually, before I do questions, I'm still concerned about where do they get offense from. So obviously Brunson's Brunson, but he can't do everything.
Yeah.
Josh Hart can't be our number 2 scorer.
No, that's not good. But Devo's going to have to snap out of it. We've had pretty good minutes from McBride. OG's been more aggressive lately, so he's got to continue that. You
need a couple points for your centers. Like Hart in what is it game? Which game did he hit? They hit like 6 points. He had a couple of those floaters.
Yeah.
He's got to do that.
Yeah, that was game 4. Embiid wasn't coming out more than 5 feet from the basket, and so Hart was standing like 7 feet from the basket and just doing floaters over him, and Embiid wasn't jumping to contest them. I don't know why they went away from that. Also, when Mitch went in game 5, the very first 2 plays he was looking for a lob, and they did not. They jacked up terrible threes instead of lobbing it to him. If Embiid is this jacked up, why aren't you doing lobs and attacking the basket the entire time?
Have the Knicks had a good 3-point shooting game? I don't think they have.
Not collectively, no. You had individual. You had like
I think,
one McBride game, one Brunson game, but like collectively they've been pretty bad, which they haven't been all series. I mean, they put together like one normal game that we've seen for the last couple of months. This series should be over tomorrow.
Right. I'm just saying, like, the Knicks really the Knicks are generally a pretty good 3-point shooting team, and that's really what's missing here. Because there haven't been like a game 1. Let me just take a quick look. So game 1,
I really think fatigue is becoming a factor in these, because there's just a lot of threes that are hitting the front of the rim.
With game 1, the Knicks shot 45% from 3. Okay, maybe I'm just wrong. It just feels like the Knicks aren't hitting threes, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it's just the last couple games.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like the last.
What was it, game? Is it game 3 or game 4? They missed like their first 7 or 8 shots. It was just they've been getting off to the worst starts, like
Holy shit!
down by
the
10
first-
almost immediately, and then they have to claw their way back. It's so annoying
Someone-
watching that every single game.
Someone posted. They were like, you know what? I know when we can play Burks. Why don't we post him? Why don't we play him in the first 5 minutes of the game when we just give up a 10-0 lead anyway?
Right. Yeah, at least we'll have fresh
Um,
legs by the end of the game.
So game 2. Okay, so let me see. Game 2, the Knicks shot. So 45% in the first game. Game 2, I feel like they did not shoot well. 33%.
Yeah, that's bad.
Game 3 was definitely poor. Game 3 was. I know it's interesting me clicking around and stuff, but 43%. Okay, my narrative's just off. I mean, I guess they lost that game. Okay, whatever. It feels like the threes aren't falling. I don't know. Here's some questions. Oscar writes, did the Knicks collectively switch off after the deuce bucket?
I mean, it seems like maybe they thought they had it in hand and then just made a lot of just stupid mental mistakes. Maybe they were already thinking about the next series. I don't know. They don't usually do this kind of stuff. It was very like like Tibbsy for them
No,
to
I
make
mean
that
usually,
many mistakes.
the series fell over with less than a minute to go. But after McBride hits that shot, you're like, it's over. We won the game, and just we're celebrating. I mean, it's stupid to be celebrating there because you clearly the Knicks know that now. But like, I get why they were celebrating. I get why they thought it was over.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't like. You're like the course of events that happened right after there. You're like, I guess you don't think Maxi's going to run on the court, hit a 4-point play.
After that happened, I've never heard the Garden so quiet during the Hart free throws. You could hear like individual people talking. Like
You just assume
it's
if they hit
weird.
a 3, you're still up by 3. You're going to get the free throws. You'll hit at least one of the 2 free throws, and it's still going to be a 2-possession game. That was just rough. I guess obviously going forward they'll play all 48 minutes. Darryl writes, I got a bad feeling about this.
It's all right. Most people pick the Knicks in 6 before the series. The 6th game hasn't happened yet. I think they'll
You're
be
not
fine.
nervous. You haven't. I know you're not nervous, Jay. But if you're not nervous, you haven't been a Knicks fan long enough.
I am a little nervous, but I'm not like, oh my God yet. I feel like as fluky as Sixers fans feel game 2 was, I feel like game 5 was even more fluky.
It's with 7 down to 7 men. It's really hard to believe the Knicks could win it all or beat the Celtics. But it's round 1. You're up 3-1 against Philly. It feels like a very winnable series. And round 2 feels very winnable because the Bucks and Pacers look like a doormat for the next round. The Bucks are missing Giannis and Dame. Basically, and the Pacers are like, we need more. You need to have more players missing for us to beat you.
I mean, the Pacers just got spanked by the Bucks without Dame or Giannis, which is insane. Just
It was the Bobby Portis game.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh God, they have Hall of Famer superstar Bobby Portis. What can we do?
So that series seems very winnable, and Porzingis just went down with an injury that has had Giannis out all series, and Porzingis seems to take way longer to heal than Giannis. So I don't know, like a Celtics team without Porzingis, I feel like is beatable.
I don't know if we can beat the Celtics. I think KP will be back. Who knows? I just want to get to the conference finals. Just get there.
Let's get a
and
little
then see what
further every
happens.
year. Yeah, semifinals and then
Yeah.
conference finals and then NBA finals the following year.
Daniel writes, to be or not to be Knicks fan? That is the question. Why did Mitch play drop coverage on that last play? Why foul? Just comments below. Hart's defense and rebounding were bad. Missed free throws. Brunson's boneheaded plays in overtime. Tibbs has to call timeout to let him rest.
Yeah, there was just so many things that went wrong. I mean, Mitch always plays drop
the
coverage.
Tibbs challenge in overtime where they're like, yeah, you're right. We called the foul on the wrong guy, but you guys still got a foul. I'm like, God damn it. We got a challenge just to switch who had the goddamn
I've
foul
never
call.
seen a successful challenge that still screwed the team. Like that was a first.
I didn't disagree. There was they're right they were right in the call. It's just freaking that's what you.
I didn't know you were even allowed to do that. I thought you were just looking at if that was a foul on that person. I didn't know you could look at other people and.
It seems to me whatever you can do to screw the Knicks, the refs are allowed to do with those challenges.
I mean, can't they just look in the background of some other challenge and see Lowry like sticking his foot out or something and call that?
Right. My understanding is you're not allowed to call other foul. At least my understanding was you're not allowed to call. Right. If Larry was in the background beating the crap out of Brunson, you were not allowed to call that because that's not what's being reviewed. So you're just reviewing this one foul. You can't call the other foul.
It's very strange.
I'm waiting for the next game where like they're gonna review the play and they're like Knicks successful challenge. But we also during the review we noticed that in the first quarter Dante's foot was on the line, so we're taking a point off for that.
Right.
But successful challenge. Mike writes on Twitter or X. How confident are we in the team's attitude? Can name a lot of past teams that would lay down and quit after a loss like this. Do these guys for sure have the mentality to stay in it and play their asses off like nothing happened on Thursday?
I think they could. I mean, the Knicks won that series after Miller scored 8 points in 9 seconds or whatever it was.
They lost that series.
I thought they won that. No, they won that series. They lost that game. They won that series.
I thought they lost that series.
No. They,
okay, go on.
Anyway, so they won that. I'm almost positive they won that series.
I'm looking it up while you're talking.
Yeah. I just feel like this team has too much fight in them to just be like, oh, I guess since we lost game 5, we're going to lose game 6 and 7. Like, I think they're mentally tougher than that. I think all the adversity they've gotten through the entire season, I think has made them mentally tough enough to withstand that. Yusef says, hey guys, absolutely love the show and have been listening since way before the high times of begging for Alexei Shved to stay with the Knicks. Can we just appreciate where we are right now? 3-2 up in the series with the young and able squad and competent management for the first time in forever. Keep up the fantastic work, guys, and let's go Knicks. Thank you, Yusef.
He's right. You're right, Jay. That is the Patrick Ewing finger roll series. They lost game 7. That was the 95. That's the game 7 they lost in the Garden in 1995.
So they had 8 points in 9 seconds and the finger roll in the same series?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to remember all this stuff.
How did they not just fold as a franchise 2 games like that?
Right, because the point was that's the reason you remember the 8 points in 9 or not 8 points in 9 seconds. You really only remember that because the Knicks lost that series. If the Knicks win that series, it's just a footnote on a one. Like you don't remember what the other team does when you beat them.
For some reason I thought the finger roll was a different series. So they had both of those in the same series. That is brutal.
That was a rough series. That was a great series. Most of the games were really close, blah blah blah. It's 95. It's so long ago. It doesn't. The only reason it matters is if the Knicks win this goddamn series, so they can play the Pacers next and make up for that one, make up for Roy Hibbert in 2013. And just beat the crap out of the Pacers.
This is why I guess I'm not in panic mode. Well, for 3 straight years, we had the Starks 2 for 18, followed by those 2 we just talked about, followed by P.J. Brown body slamming Charlie Ward and half the team getting suspended. That was 3 years in a row of just like, this is our year, except this really ridiculous once-in-a-lifetime event happening.
So I can accept this team coming back and being really good next year and like getting over this. But the Knicks had that crazy end of game 2. The Pacers struck back immediately and had a 50-point game. They basically didn't let losing game 2 phase them. Mm-hmm. And I have so much more confidence in the Knicks' ability to resilience than the Sixers' resilience. So I just don't think like Hart, Brunson, all of them, they'll be like, we lost. Let's get this job done on game 6. And Brunson pointed out on his podcast that he always plays better on the road. He's like, it's not just like with the Knicks. My whole life, even in high school, I always had my best games on the road. Yeah,
I feel like Brunson's the type of guy who's really going to be thinking about that turnover. And he's just going to take that as a challenge to play even better.
Yeah, he said that his turnover at the end of like the game 6 against Miami, he thought about that all season. That still haunted him. Like those kind of plays really haunt him.
Yeah.
Did you listen to the roommates podcast with Clyde? They did like a 2-parter. It was recorded before the playoffs started.
No, I haven't listened to it yet.
It's really good. It's a fun interview. But one thing I wanted to mention from it. So Josh Hart, and not the whatever. I'm reading another podcast. I'm just mentioning something from the show that. So Hart actually had previously had a podcast when he was on the Lakers. I don't know if did you know that?
No, I didn't.
So Brunson was not on it, but the other two, Hart and the other co-hosts were doing it then.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess Josh Hart hates analytics, and they recorded an episode, and during the episode he was like, "I hate analytics. It's trash. I hate when people like the analytics stuff is garbage. I hate it." So they recorded that episode and they released it a week later. In between when they record it and when they release it, I'm getting these facts right. Frank Vogel is hired by the Lakers. Frank Vogel is a analytics coach. So he gets hired right afterwards. This episode comes out basically where Josh Hart bashing analytics, and the Lakers, the management's all like, "What the hell is this Josh Hart doing?" And they had like a sit down with him, and he's like, "We recorded the episode before I even knew he was going to be the coach. I'm really sorry."
And they're like, "Yeah, we're trading this guy."
Yeah. I just thought it was very funny. Michael writes, "What happened to Dante's shot? Is it a matchup problem? Good defense, not enough shot opportunities?"
Philly is playing good defense on him. And also it helps when he's supposed to be the number 2 guy. Like, it's easier to focus on him. But I mean, Batum's been doing a good job. Lowry's been doing a good job. Like, Philly's a very good defensive team too.
They're an excellent defensive team, no question. I think the Knicks need to go out of their way to get Dante some shots early in the first quarter. Just like get him going. If anything, like Brunson should really try in the first quarter to get everyone else going. Get the ball, like he can get going later. Get the ball to other guys. Get them shots early. There was I remember reading this piece by Billups, Chauncey Billups, who was talking about like his goal always was like in the first quarter of the game, get everyone else going before you get your own points.
Yeah, I mean that makes, especially when you have guys that are not usually the focal point of the offense. If you get them involved early, it just makes everybody else's life easier.
Yeah, I'd love to see a big OG game also.
Mm-hmm.
His dribbling is not amazing. He can shoot. I like his pull-ups. It's funny also, I was watching it like OG, I'm like, well, if OG's not going to play well, like if he's not going to score, we'll still pay him $40 million this offseason because we just kind of have to.
Yeah. I just think they should be looking for Ihart and Mitch more.
Yeah. Precious, when he's out there, no. So the adjustments I would make, more McBride, get the guys, get everyone going a little earlier. What you said, get the centers more involved. Try Precious out some more. I mean, there's only so many things. There's only so many adjustments you can make with 7 guys out there.
I would just be attacking the rim with the big guys constantly. I mean, as banged up as Embiid is, yeah, when he's out, it's so much worse. No matter how bad Embiid's playing, when he's not playing, Philly's like toast. Get him in foul trouble.
It's a really good point. If you gift the ball to Ihart early and tell him go to the basket, and if he can get Embiid a couple fouls early, that could make a big difference.
Yeah, don't worry about getting blocked. You're gonna get blocked a couple times. Just be aggressive. Get 2 fouls on him, and your job's done. I don't care if you go for 5.
Right. I mean, even like let's have Mitch. Hey, drive to the basket. You do that twice a season. Do it a third time now.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, we are nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to email us, nyknickspodcast on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, and Twitter. And we have a Discord. The link is on our Twitter and our Facebook. So if you want to chat during the games, you can join our Discord. And Cobra says, Ian Begley just posted yesterday's 2-minute report. Maxey traveled late in the fourth quarter. Yes, he slid his pivot foot. It was a travel. Philly fans will say that the refs are still against them, even though they missed that. But
2-minute reports only count if they screw the Knicks. If it's against Philly, we don't make a big deal about it.
Still don't really understand the 2-minute report.
no clue what. Yeah, as Tim said, what about the other 46 minutes? And this is stupid.
Yeah, yeah. It just
Like,
gets people mad.
If there was a foul in the last 2 minutes, if it's not called during those last 2 minutes, who gives a shit?
Right. It just gets people mad again. Like
Yeah.
we saw it yesterday. We saw it was a travel. It was annoying. I don't need to get mad again today.
Yeah, I don't even like. I don't. Whatever. Nick's got to slow
It's just so you
Maxey
can be
down.
like, I knew it. My tweet was correct.
I'm taking this to the Supreme Court. Yeah, the Knicks just gotta Maxey, just as you said, just slow Maxey got 46, hold him to 30, and you probably win the game.
35 even.
Yeah, I mean not like obviously last night. I mean just like tomorrow night, just Maxey's not quite as effective, and also like I don't know. Like, I mean, it's hard to go like 7 for 12 from three every night, even if you're being left open. So,
Yeah.
And the Knicks aren't leaving him open. He's hitting great shots. I mean, Maxey's been awesome.
Yeah, he's been awesome.
Kyle Lowry, still can't stand. I have to say, Kyle Lowry might commit a foul on every play, on defense at least.
When he tweaked OG's elbow,
Holy shit.
I was like, this series is over, and also Lowry needs to just get kicked out of the league.
Right. You made a joke about like you see Lowry in the background, but like he really is like every play he's holding someone's hand, he's pulling some guy.
He's so
like,
dirty. He's like stealthy dirty. Like Embiid is like blatant in your face dirty. Lowry's like sneaky dirty, where if you're not watching behind a screen, you don't see him like tugging on jerseys or like sticking his leg out. Like it's not as obvious, but when you pay attention to him, he's like really dirty.
Wait, isn't it funny? Like the beginning of the season, we were like there were some Knicks fans like, should the Knicks try to get Embiid? Now, if we ask that question, Knicks fans gonna be like, I hate that man. I want him nowhere. I want him barred. Like, I want him nowhere near the Knicks outside of when we're playing them.
I mean, his attitude in general. Can you see him ever playing for Tibbs or dealing with the Garden or like, I don't know. He just doesn't have the right attitude. I wouldn't want him anywhere near the Knicks.
No, he does not seem like to me. He's not a championship player.
Well, and in reality,
yes, in reality, and objectively, he's not a championship player. Philly probably should consider trading him. Knicks don't want him, but after the season's over for Philly, they should probably trade Embiid and move on. Like build around Maxey. Maxey's awesome.
Or Philly should trade for Durant because Durant's super teams have been doing really good lately.
Well, Durant's going to want to trade again, so they'll be. Durant's definitely not going to be on the Suns next year. So that's a given.
It's so funny.
There is no way he's on the Suns next year because he's the guy. Like, if anything, you're the Suns. You keep Booker, you trade him. You trade the 36-year-old Durant.
Is it possible to be part of like the 3 worst super teams ever? Because he's already on 2 of them.
So we were talking before the show, just talking about some of these other series briefly. The other series aren't that great. Mavs Clippers is pretty good. That's tied 2-2. They're going for game 5 tonight. But Kawhi, apparently, if you play Kawhi, you lose. If Kawhi sits, the Clippers win.
Yeah, and Kawhi's out now for game 5. He looked way too banged up to even be playing. He did that weird thing where he got a dunk, and then he didn't want to let go of the rim. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, no.
Yeah, it looked like he was like scared to like land, and he hung on the rim for, I don't know, 10 seconds, and they didn't call a tech, which, if a Nick hangs on the rim for like 2 seconds, he's getting called. But yeah, he was just looking down and just hanging on the rim for what seemed like forever, and they didn't call anything.
The Celtics are playing the Heat tonight. By the time you listen to this, they'll probably have eliminated the Heat. But if Porzingis is not playing, Heat have a puncher's chance, but they're probably going to lose. And Bam probably will injure another member of the Celtics. Lakers lost in 5, so they at least won a game. LeBron not on the Lakers next year? What do you think? Is he staying?
I think it depends. Whoever wants to burn a draft pick and draft his son, he'll probably go there.
I think LeBron's going to be like, I want to compete for a title, and there's just no way I can compete on the Lakers next year. Like, we're not winning it. So, also, what are the other series? OKC eliminated the Pelicans. Not a surprise. Anything else interesting, Jay? Oh, and in Indiana, we talked about against the Bucks. They can't seem to beat the corpse of the Bucks. Anything else? Am I missing any series? I know I'm missing one at least.
Well, the Cavs Magic series hasn't been on TV. I don't know why NBA TV is a thing. I don't know why they get one series every year. I don't know why, like...
There was one of the games I think was on TV. I was watching one of the games.
Yeah,
you're
game
right, most
one.
of them have not been on.
Games 3 through 5 have not.
It's really weird. Either way, I guess apparently on Orlando they have one only Paolo can score, and apparently on Cleveland it's mostly just Donovan.
Yeah, not the most interesting. I mean, the Knicks one is clearly the best series. I'm not just saying that because it's the Knicks. Like, every game has been close. Chum says Durant for Randall. I say absolutely not. 36-year-old Durant. No, thank you.
I don't even want to do off-season questions right now. So I think we've kind of covered everything. I am super nervous for Game 6.
Yusuf says Anthony Edwards has been solid for Minnesota. He's been awesome. That's going to be a series. Minnesota-Denver, that's going to be a series.
That looks like an awesome series. I think Minnesota's got a very decent chance of being Denver. That should be an epic series.
Yeah. And Cobra says NBA TV sucks. I just don't get the point of having like an NBA channel and getting one playoff series for the entire playoffs every year. It's weird. I don't want them to get more because I don't want to get NBA TV. I just like somebody's paying for this NBA TV just so they can watch like a Pacers or a Magic series because that seems to be the only two teams, or the Hawks. Those are the only three teams that show up on NBA TV.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume if you're in the home market, you get it on another channel, not just like I don't think you have to get NBA TV to watch your own playoff game.
Watch be blacked out locally.
I really appreciate that all the Knicks games generally have been on MSG.
Yeah,
simulcast on MSG. So like, I'd much rather hear like Clyde than hear the shitty broadcasters in the other networks.
With that stupid no flex zone Wingstop commercial that plays on every single commercial break. That's
Is Wingstop like the most popular like fast food place in America now?
I don't know, but they're definitely playing that on every commercial break for every single game, and it's driving me up the wall. I'm going to just start muting the TV during the commercials.
We have a lot of those commercials.
I can't handle no flex zone anymore.
Okay, so anyway, Jay's not nervous. I'm nervous. If we get to Game 7, you'll have to. I'll be watching it at the corner. I'll be standing outside on the top of a building, watching it, ready to jump.
Look, if the Knicks lose Game 6, I'm right there with you. I'm feeling pretty good about Game 6.
I can't even fathom the Knicks losing this series. This will be such an it'll be such a awful way to go if they lose the series.
Agreed. But they won't. Knicks in 6.
They won't. Knicks in 6. Brunson is too good to let this happen. The Knicks are too good. Philly's going down. I'm so nervous. End the show, Jay.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back talking about the Knicks-Pacers series next episode. Knicks in 6.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.